Hi, welcome to the Piezo-Metrics channel. I'm Frank, and I'm here to show how to install Piezo-Metrics strain gauge rosettes. At Piezo-Metrics, we understand how difficult it is to install a bare semiconductor strain gauge. The gauge's small size and fragility makes it a tricky proposition to install them correctly. It takes a lot of time to build up the skill necessary to do it reliably. We believe that semiconductor strain gauges have utility in many applications. So to make them easier to use, we've developed a rosette based on semiconductor strain gauges. The rosette possesses all the same conveniences as encapsulated strain gauges in the metal foil world. Here are two types of rosettes that we have developed. Both have semiconductor strain gauges mounted on a 50 micron thick polyimide backing. The rosettes themselves measure 6.75 millimeters long by 6 millimeters wide. The first type of rosette, shown on the left, is called a bending load rosette. It's designed to measure bending strains with gauges 1 and 2, or axial and transverse strains with gauges 1 and 3, or gauges 2 and 3. The second type of rosette, shown on the right, is called a torque component rosette. It's designed to measure shear strains with gauges 1 and 3, or component strains with gauges 1, 2, and 3. These patterns were selected to make each rosette as versatile as possible for the end user. As I mentioned earlier, the Piezo-Metrics rosette was designed to be as easy to use as an encapsulated metal foil gauge. That means all the supporting technologies that were developed for metal foil gauges can be used with the Piezo-Metrics rosette. So, the same surface cleaning procedures, the same adhesives, the same general bonding procedures, and the same soldering procedures can be used. In this video, we will go over a few selected steps in the rosette's installation procedure to show how easy it is to work with it. I will be using a torque component rosette, an aluminum bar, and M-Bond 200 for this demonstration. The procedure I am using is based on the procedure documented in the Micromeasurements Instruction Bulletin B127 for their M-Bond 200 adhesive. Before shooting this video, I went through steps 1 to 3 where I cleaned, degreased, and marked the aluminum bar per the instruction bulletin. I also went through steps 4 and 5 where I put the rosette on a glass plate and placed a piece of transparent tape gently over the rosette. That is what you are looking at now. For the Piezo-Metrics rosette, it's very important to seal the solder pads with the tape as I am showing here. Sealing the pads prevents the M-bond from leaking onto the pads and preventing solder from sticking to them. In this next step, which corresponds to steps 6 to 9 in the bulletin, I will sweep the adhesive under and past the rosette. And then, following step 10, I apply pressure to the rosette and let the adhesive cure into a thin, uniform bond line. Now that the adhesive has cured, I can pull the tape off the rosette per step 11 in the bulletin. If the terminal pad sealing was done properly, the pad imprints will appear on the tape as it is pulled off. At this point, the rosette has been installed. The excess M-bond around the rosette can be cleaned off with some acetone. However, care must be taken not to get acetone on the rosette. Here's a table giving some details about the rosette and what you can expect from it. As you can see, the rosettes can be built from 500 ohm gauges or 1000 ohm gauges. To minimize creep, applied strains should be kept under 420 microstrain. The gauge factor is approximately 125. That's a 14% reduction in sensitivity when compared to a bare strain gauge. In terms of maximum operating temperature, it is partly governed by the type of adhesive used. With M-Bond 200, operating temperatures for the rosette are limited to about 55 degrees Celsius. For fatigue life, the rosettes have been tested to over 1 million cycles without any detrimental effects. In this video, I've shown a few steps in the installation procedure used for a Piezo-Metrics rosette. As you've seen, the procedure is very similar to that used for metal foil gauges. The rosette performs very well for applied strains up to 300 or 400 microstrain. If M-bond 200 is used, the rosette can handle thermal environments up to 55 degrees Celsius. We prepared a detailed procedure for installing a Piezo-Metrics rosette. If you would like a copy, it's available from our website. A link is given below. Finally, if you'd like to know more about Piezo-Metrics rosettes, please visit our website at www.piezo-metrics.com.